First of all, give Miss Richa Singh a big round of applause. Well, let me start by asking you, how many of you know about the Natural Diamond Council? So all of you know about it, right?
So
Does
how
one
many of
person
you
know now?
about diamonds?
Diamond.
Everybody knows diamonds. That's my brand. So
Yeah,
everybody knows about it.
diamond. Good. When did you last buy anybody a diamond?
That's so sad. All of you men not bought a single piece of jewelry in the recent few years. Oh, I'm so happy to see you. Come on. Somebody has bought a piece of jewelry. I can see two hands going back up. But
Good.
we need more men to be wearing jewelry and wearing diamonds and of course buying diamonds.
Let me start by asking, I'll come to marketing white book. And Ms. Singh, you've been in the business domain for more than 2 decades. What has changed in the last 2 decades about the business environment and hence about what is happening in marketing? You started your career with J. Walter Thompson, then you were with L'Oreal. What has changed in the last 2 decades? 2, 3 things that are really headline.
I was invited to speak on AI and I turned to my team. She's sitting here and I was really upset. And I said, it's not me. It should be a 25-year-old sitting there and talking about AI because it comes naturally to them. I'm from the era, I don't know how many of you are old, but मैंने अपनी first campaign acetate पे बनाई थी. So, I started with an agency. We used to go to a studio. We used to make sheets on acetate. We evolved. So the digital world for me by itself was revolutionary.
Absolutely.
I appreciate every little tiny bit which probably, a lot of you take for granted or my family takes for granted. I think a mobile is still, after 25 years, I feel it's a luxury. It was my first job. I bought my first Motorola. My biggest investment with my salary at JWT was that big Motorola that I got. So I feel that certain things which have stayed constant in the last 25 years of me working. You mentioned kindness. I think that there is a lot to say in marketing about gut, empathy, understanding. There's a consumer, a pulse of the consumer, not everybody has. Data crunching can turn into a science, but I think a combination of the gut that makes you, takes you to newer heights is different. And that I feel has stayed constant. What has changed? He spoke about sleeping 9 hours. I'm a mother. I don't think I slept 9 hours, still, since my pre-pregnancy, since my kids were born. But for me, if I get 5 hours of sleep, it's a very, very good night. And between straddling work and home and it may sound like that, but the excitement of wanting to do, and most women will agree on that. So I feel what has changed is that research has become simpler. The access to data, which makes you feel so much more confident, has become, we used to go in cold into so many meetings where it wasn't for the lack of desire, but we just didn't have access. And the access that has opened up, the awareness that is there, the fact that you can, think from while doing something so local, think global, that things I think have changed so dramatically. And if you say 20 years ago, from my first campaign to now, 25 years ago, it's the approach to marketing has changed. But I would think that the inherent core of that passion, creativity is still the same.
Yeah. Let me ask you another question. By the way, a legendary diplomat died, the former US Secretary of State. He died at 100. And again, he, different people have different views on him. Some see him as somebody who was an aggressor, who started wars, who, on behalf of the American administration, created. But he at 98 wrote a book with the executive chairman of Google on AI. So, I don't think, AI should be just left to 25-year-olds. I think anyone who has an interest in the world, in business, in society should and must have a point of view on AI. Now, let me also ask you, what has changed about the portrayal of women in advertising last 2 decades? Has anything changed? Are we still fanning stereotypes?
Oh, yes. I still think that there is a lot of advertising that is very stereotypical in the way we dress a person, in the way women talk, in the way anything. Diversity is not. But I do think that the new age brands are showing women, empowered women, and empowerment doesn't necessarily mean a career or a job. I just think empowerment is having the privilege or the right to do what you want to do. Whether you want to stay at home is, I think the toughest job is to be a housewife and run a
Absolutely, no
household and be
question.
happy. So for me, it's the empowerment, and a lot more brands are showing it. Is it caught up with the world? I don't think so. I think that has it changed in 25 years? Dramatically, but is it there, up there, reflective of what the industry is, what the world is? No. I think that we tend to stick to cliches. A lot more movies come up. The Bollywood is a reflector of that, and I think so are our ads. And it's a combination. We are getting there, but the pace needs to accelerate.
Absolutely. And, I must say that, I have two grown-up kids. And, they go to their mother. So the mother also absorbs a lot of things that they tell them her emotionally. It takes mind space. It impacts your sleep because they'll tell things to her that they don't say to me, right? So she spend more time. There's no question about that. And, earlier I wouldn't understand that. But in the last 3-4 years, I do understand that, my daughter was here for a 6 days unscheduled trip. I'm saying this because, you talked about sleep and the role of mothers. You have to. And I said to my wife's name is Neeti, that I salute you because, the way she looks at small things. I mean, I try to do everything for my children, but I still miss a lot of things. But the way she does detailing about in her mind, in her execution, honestly, it's just, I think only mothers can do that. But again, maybe it's a stereotype, but even in Vedas, both mother and father are important, but mother is mother. Okay. So now coming back to marketing and artificial intelligence, artificial intelligence has become a part of creating communication, a part of gaining insights, a part of, a companion network, so to say. Tell me, how are you seeing the role of AI in guiding business leaders? Is it only about insights, or is it about automating a lot of work? Or do you see AI becoming really a colleague at work, so to say, if I may have to say?
Again, like I said, for me to take something in, absorb it, it takes a lot more probably than a more younger person. I think AI is now a part of life. It's a given that it will be there. I think there's a lot more. The plus for me, again, coming from a person who's always, and every marketeer is stretched for time. I think that this is the one thing that is helping you save time. So, all your repetitive work, I love the fact, and I must tell you, little thrills in life, but I typed out, you type out on Bard and say, ye data, we were analyzing our industry, and it's a very closed industry. Not everything is published. And the data came in bullet points. And it was such a thrill to type and say, now put it in a table which has got this on the axis and this on the axis. In 3 seconds, it's up there. And then, however small it may seem, that's 30 minutes of my life or my team's life. So I think that the amount of time we spent on gathering information, making, correlating. You spoke about law with me just now and saying lawyers, and when they're available, the amount of data you cull through, case studies you cull through, I think that now it's all there. I can spend a lot more time compared to, say, 25 years ago. I did 90% of my time to gather the data, 10% to interpret it, analyze it. It's flipped over. So I have that much more time to think of more hypotheses, possibilities, interpretations, analysis. You have a lot more time to think of what could be. Even if it's, the intangible, you have more time on because the tangible has become so much easier. When you say, how is it changing life in planning? When your team reached out to me and I was trying to think what is the biggest impact, while you talk creativity, copywriting, everybody seems to think that copywriting now doesn't exist as a career, and I disagree on that. There is good writers and there is good, writers, and you've had, you can make out a difference in the campaign. So everybody could write. Now, I think that there is something, I'm not a creatively inclined person. I can look and say, hey, I love it or I don't, but I cannot write it for you. And I think that that will exist. But to a leader, the first thing is, how will we retrain our team? So whether it is adapting and changing completely certain careers, upskilling certain careers, and reskilling certain careers. And I think that certain careers will be obsolete. Certain profiles will be obsolete. Certain will just need upskilling. I think where we are stuck, and I say India more because while we work with global, is that we are very slow to change. Also because our workforce is so much larger, the worry in a larger company's head is, or the team's head is how it impacts my life, that we are almost shying away from taking it on completely, like welcoming it. And I think that upskilling will be the name of the game, or is the name of the game, and so many people are missing out on it because you will redefine the way you approach it. And I think the biggest challenge to AI reaching maximum potential is the fact that we are not trained to use it to its maximum capability.
Well, Richa, if I may ask, there is a trend of premiumization of the Indian economy.
Yeah.
In your last stint before the Natural Diamond Council, you were the head of luxury at L'Oreal. Let me give you two examples. In the auto segment, while the market leader, we know who the market leader is, sells a lot of cars at the entry level, but the growth in the cars, which are little upscale cars, which are sedans, is much more.
Yeah.
So Indians are buying luxury cars more than they're buying entry level cars. You take food. I was at the European Commission's food conference yesterday in the morning, and the kind of food products that are coming, their pricing, and then there's a premium on if they're organic, if they're sustainable, if they're chemical free, so on and so forth. So I can keep giving examples. Look at luxury housing, and so clearly in Indian marketplace, in the consumer place, there's a trend for premiumization. How does it augur for your current role? Diamonds in India, we put a lot of value to gold, we put a lot of value to diamond, little more to gold, less to diamond. But how does it, this overall trends toward premiumization? Give a sense of what's happening in the diamond space.
I want to come back. You mentioned Gen Z and come to the, when we left B school, आप मेरे से बड़े हो, but when we left B school, you used to, while you were in B school, you would have somebody who would offer you credit cards, you would get auto loans, you would get home loans. Today, when you talk to a 23-year-old, they don't want a car. They will say, I want to travel. मैंने holiday plan किया हुआ यहाँ पे, whatever is trending. Experiences, travel becoming a very integral part. It is not just experience here in Bombay City, for instance. There is a desire for, you mentioned food. I think today, we listed out, we have a very, I must say, we talked to only the top 10 cities, but when my team and I speak, the number one expense of a 25-year-old is F&B. चाहे वो खाना खा रहे हैं या दारू पी रहे हैं या बाहर जा रहे हैं.
Guess how much money Indians spend on food? Just guess. As a percentage of GDP, how much money we spend, just to buttress our point?
Yeah.
How much? Take a guess. Huh? We spend about 18%. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot.
We spend $70 billion every year on food. F&B, okay, not just food. And of course, Mr. Rao, you come from a state that is India's highest consumer of liquor.
Of alcohol. Sir.
Yeah.
Coming from a third, it means something. But I just want to say that our competition today gets redefined. When you say people are buying diamonds, I'm not sitting here and saying कि उसने gold खरीदा, हीरा खरीदा क्या. उसने खाना खाया. That is my competition today. And that is the reality check that most marketers need to have today, that you are not competing only in your category. A 25-year-old, a 22-year-old is so distracted that you need 30 seconds of his time or her time. And that's what your campaign using AI, not using your gut, needs to catch them at that particular moment in the 30 seconds. If today the highest luxury item is the highest expense is restaurants, and then the next, like you mentioned, if we can justify standing in queue for an Apple phone and buying it for 1.5 lakh rupees, मेरा 156 का Apple का phone आया था, and I can change it every year. The Indian consumer is dying to spend, guys. It's not about, Sameer will come in and talk ITC, and I have worked on 1.5 rupee ka sachet, and for L'Oreal 1 rupee ka sachet. That was my biggest project for a good 4 years. And we believe, but also.
Why are you talking about shampoos?
Shampoos? मैंने बेचे हैं ना 20 साल. From Unilever to that, अब हीरो पे आ गई, पर बेचा पैदाइश मार्केटिंग में शैम्पू तेल पे हुई है, क्रीम पे हुई है. But
there was a time I was your consumer.
Cream भी बेचते थे. But when you say premiumization, I think Indians at heart have aspirations. अगर आप यूरोप में जाओगे, people are very happy with their lot in life. हमारे में चाहे मैं 100 कमाता हूँ, चाहे मैं 1 लाख कमाता हूँ, मेरी तमन्ना बड़ी है. So all Indians aspire to be bigger. Absolutely. All parents aspire for their children to do better. So I think that considering that, अगर आप आज 22-year-old से बोलो कि जाके गाड़ी खरीद ले, इन्होंने नाम नहीं लिया, कोई politically correct reason होगा तो मैं भी नहीं लेती, but अगर आप बोलो ये गाड़ी खरीद ले, वो कहेगा नहीं Uber है. So they are not wanting, सीधा खरीदूंगा तो, I will buy a luxury car. The dreams are that of a luxury car, and they work towards it. Also, we have a sense of मेरा हक बनता है. We weren't raised on that. My generation wasn't raised on, we were told, fight for your, if you want something, you have to work hard on it. And okay, you were born rich but different, but you have to work hard for it. Today, a 21-year-old, you go to any B school, he mentioned MDI and being on the board, you go to any B school, the students have a sense of entitlement. They feel ki ye to, this is my lot in life. I have to, I deserve it. So the fact that they go with that mindset, I think makes them make it happen, because you dream bigger, you aspire for bigger, either you work hard or you find a jugaad or whatever you do, but you make it happen. Hamari tamannaएं baby steps leti thi, they take larger leaps in life. So for me, the two things I would say, one, extremely fickle, extremely flirtatious, no brand loyalty, we are ready to go, no category loyalty. आज मेरे को ये पसंद है, कल मुझे ये है, कल ये. Second, I want it all. I put out 10 mantras just now for my industry, and it was, I want it all. मुझे लहंगा भी पहनना है, मुझे मिनी स्कर्ट भी पहननी है, मुझे शादी की ट्रेडिशन मंदिर में भी करनी है, पर मुझे बीच में भी व्हाइट गाउन पहन के भी करनी है. I want everything that I can get in life. और जो मेरी औकात है, मैं उसके आगे मैं करके रहूंगी. There is no nothing holding me back. And I think that they are braver about experimenting and trying. And it is not कि मैंने इतना पैसा इस कैटेगरी में खर्चना है, इसमें. They are way more open to things, experiences, trying out than we were. So, Absolutely. As a category, we as diamonds have to rethink and say, am I fighting against a BMW, against a mall, against a dinner at Indian Accent, or against an Apple phone? It's a combination of everything.
How many of you know about Indian Accent? You're rich. You work with Businessworld, so of course. And you're anyway rich.
My team is paid well.
How many others know about Indian Accent? 3.
All women have raised hands.
Five people. No, 2 men now. 3. So anyway, Indian Accent is a restaurant in Delhi, started by a chef called Manish Malhotra, started by a friend of mine called Rohit Khattar. Now, it was in London and New York, in one of the cities shut down. It's an experience. It is fusion of Indian food with international food, and they've done nice.
They have blue cheese kulchas.
Yeah, I know. I remember going there when it used to be at the new friends called the Manor. And I remember early morning, I went with my wife and kids for lunch around, and they have a set thali also. Yes. And then, my kids still wanted black dal and chicken. They were Punjabi kids, this is a long time back. This is almost 9 years back. And now they're at the Lodi, and, all my expat guests, I take them there because the Goras love it. I can't eat. I can eat it 2-3 times a year, but not more than that.
It's just opened in Bombay.
Yes. Where is it opened in Bombay?
In the new Geo.
Geo, yeah, lovely. Good. So now coming back, and let me make the conversation real. Uh, your organization is called the Natural Diamond Council.
Yes.
There is this movement of lab-grown diamonds across the world, and it has impacted the perception of, the value of diamonds. And let me say, you have an opportunity to able to educate everyone. What's happening in this space? How is it impacted? What are the trends you see?
So lab-grown diamonds were created in 60s. It's not a new phenomena. Till now, they've been used for industrial purposes, surgery, construction. So, they've always had, till very recent times, De Beers was the largest manufacturer of lab-grown diamonds. A smart marketer, like one of us, has gotten up and said that there was a movie coming out and said, we can turn it into jewelry. It started on a platform which said, hey, I'm giving you a better deal. Diamonds were selling at an X price. Diamonds are 1 billion years old. They take a good 20 years for the first mine to, see the first diamond. So there is a journey that it takes that is precious, and I would say
scarcity.
It's not scarcity in the truest sense.
But there's a premium for the supply. Okay.
Yes.
Let's use the word
it's
supply.
Also the journey. मतलब अगर आप बोलोगे बनता कैसे है, whether it comes from how deep it comes from, the journey it's taken. Every diamond you can see how old. It's the oldest thing that you can ever hold in your hand. It's 2 billion years old. There is nothing which has more history, more emotion attached to it, and each and every piece is unique. If I have 2 in my ears, they are both distinct. So along the way, it has become, it's because it's produced in a factory. It used to be at some stage an environmental, it was one factory product. It's now mass produced in India and China. The prices have dropped dramatically. We think that it's 2 parallel tracks. There is a fine jewelry track, and there is people looking for fashion jewelry, everyday wear. Yes. Today, this week, the news, Walmart has launched 4 more lines. Walmart sells lab-grown diamonds. They're selling it at $500 a carat. It's their sale price. So for me, this is not luxury.
Absolutely.
For me, this is not competition. This is an alternate. I wear, a piece of jewelry from a high street brand, whether it's a Zara, with as much panache as I do my diamonds. It's my mood. It's where I'm going. It's whether I'm traveling. I'm going trekking. I will not wear my solitaires and go. So you have an alternate, but they're 2 parallel tracks. Is it replacing? No. Most men love to ask me whether it's natural diamonds, is the business impacted? No. Do we have cycles of pricing? Yes, like any other product. Today we are the only category that you can buy, wear for 80 years, pass on to your daughter, and she will wear for her 40, 50 years, pass it on, and the value is maintained. Is it the same accelerated growth as gold? It's not, but I'm not selling it as an investment. I'm selling it as a product for you to wear and enjoy. Can you say that for your car? जिस दिन शोरूम से निकली उसका प्राइस ड्रॉप हो गया, जिस दिन आपने फोन खरीदा. But fine jewelry, any version of fine jewelry, and of course with natural diamonds, you're wearing it today. You're enjoying every day of wearing it. I've had this ring for 20 years. If I wear it for another 20, I wear it every year and pass it to my child. It's going to shine as pretty. The gold it's set in will have as much value. The diamond will have as much value. So I'm not treating it as a mutual fund or a equity investment. You're treating it as something you're wearing, enjoy. Food we spoke about, you can't keep enjoying it.
Such things are also about vanity. They're also about experience. They're about
It's also emotion. No woman sitting here will not have a journey associated with it. During lockdown, सब औरत ने कहा, I'm wearing my earrings because मुझे अपनी माँ की याद आ रही थी. तो मैंने अपने कानों में पहने हुए, चाहे नीचे तुमने ट्रैक पैंट्स पहनी हुई थी, सॉलिटेयर्स तुमने कान में पहने हुए थे क्योंकि मेरी नानी ने दिया, मेरी माँ ने दी. और इट्स अ सेंस ऑफ प्राइड. आई गॉट माय फर्स्ट सैलरी, आई बॉट इट. और आई गॉट डिवोर्स्ड and I wanted to treat myself, I bought it. But there is always a story to your piece of jewelry. No woman has just said, हाँ, आज मैं खाए. There's a moment to it. There is an emotion to it. There is a love that you feel when you walk in. You were talking 25 years journey. When I started my career as a woman, wearing a blazer gave you a sense of comfort when you walked into a room full of men. It moved to 15 years post that to red lipstick. If you wore red lipstick and walk in, you had a sense of power. Today, you ask the women in the room, they'll say, I'm wearing solitaires, and that gives me a little sense of confidence that walks in. And that's a job well done by my team and the industry.
Okay, my last question to you. With India growing, we are a 3 trillion economy, and I genuinely believe, based on data, based on what I see, that we are going to grow at a pace that we've not imagined.
Yes.
Of course, premiumization is a trend. More and more Indians are owning a piece of real estate. More and more Indians are buying cars. More and more Indians are taking holiday, whether in India or outside. More and more Indians are spending money they saved in the last 3 years. And the meaning of YOLO really kind of shone through these years. What does it mean for the natural diamond industry?
I think it's an opportunity for us to, this is, again, like I said, we are in a category which we are saying while it's an investment, it's something you can enjoy. And it's a perfect opportunity. What I've missed out in saying is this generation is also looking at making something mine. It's all about, this is me, this is my personality, this is what I stand for, whether it's social media, whether it's the way you look. What better way to give you a look, feel, a moment than a piece of jewelry? Shirts can change, come and go. Jeans can be flared and fitted. We are slow fashion. We are something that can be worn again and again and again. We are a memory, an heirloom. So there's an emotion attached to it. We are giving you a fashion statement. We are allowing you to personalize and say your own, what you stand for. All the attributes that today's generation is looking for. Plus, not to forget what you said, we give you the status symbol that you're looking for. We are a badge value of you having arrived. I have to give you an example that came from a jeweler in Calcutta. He said, मैं होटल में 5-star होटल में गाड़ी से उतरता हूँ, दरबान मुझे सल्यूट करता है कि मैं मर्सिडीज से उतरा. And 30 seconds later, when I'm in the hotel, nobody knows कि मैं किस गाड़ी से उतरा. So मेरी that prestige goes away. But आप हीरे पहन के अंदर जाते हो और सबको पता है आपके हाथ में हीरे हैं, आपके कान में हीरे हैं. So this is it's a Marwadi in Calcutta, but I thought it was a perfect example to say that your status symbol goes with you. Okay, it is a Rolex as well. I'm not saying I'm the only category, but hell, I'm better.
Okay, good. Thank you, Ms. Singh, for saying what you said. Just as a follow-up, if you had to choose a brand ambassador, I don't know if you have one, for the Natural Diamond Council, who would it be? So
we are, as a council, we don't sell anything. We are a not-for-profit body. For me, I sell jewelry, which is with all my partners, and all my partners have everybody. We've not left anybody in the industry, let me tell you. All the Bollywood stars are ours. All the TV stars are ours. So as an industry, I think we are quite, we've quite extended that game. We are quite over indexed on celebrities. Fantastic. We have the presence of Ms. Richa Singh here. If you may want to ask some questions, we have 2 odd minutes. We could take some questions. Peshwa, any questions? I'll meet you over coffee. Okay. Sudhakar Garu. I would like to say congratulations. Sudhakar just said that he's become number 2 company in the world. They've beaten INSEAD after Harvard. They are the largest company. So very proud to have another one star from India. Congratulations, sir. They're also consumers of yours. Should buy his wife a diamond. And Atit, please buy your wife a diamond. Okay. Anybody else wants to ask Ms. Singh a question? If not, I will ask you the last question. Coming back to the theme of the marketing white book, artificial intelligence, and what millennials are doing and how it's changing the workplace. Do you really see artificial intelligence being a danger to the fabric of society, as a lot of people are saying, because it can be programmed to be able to do things that not necessarily are not good for society? And we're just starting with artificial intelligence. So it may be at, say, level 5, but there is a level 100 to be reached. So do you see we need to build in safeguards? 3 weeks back, the British Prime Minister did a conference with the world leaders on how to kind of ring fence artificial intelligence. In every major business forum across the world,
while we're talking about the benefits of AI, leaders equally warning about the perils of AI. So what is your viewpoint on this?
Like any good thing, I think too much of any good thing is bad, and that holds true here. I think safeguards are needed. The journey for me, I mentioned earlier, it started where AI was just the left brain, and today with generative AI, you also have access to the right brain, and that itself makes me step back, think again on what, like I said, upskill, reskill myself. And there is a third part of it, which is coming, where we are talking about saying artificial general intelligence, where they'll get the street smarts. And that, makes me believe that one, we need to quickly upskill, reskill. And the second, yes, a lot of safeguards in place, because privacy will be a big part of it. I get, the big brother kind of vibe that is coming from all things scares me at an individual level as well. Am I the expert to tell you what safeguards? No, I'm sorry, I'm not. But yes, I think that there is a lot being done that we've been reading up on as an industry, but there is a lot more that will be needed. I don't know if the safeguards are keeping pace. I think we are too smart for our own good at times. So we are hoping that that will also keep pace. But yes, definitely needed and much needed. In certain aspects, yes, definitely much needed. Privacy being an immediate need.
Thank you so much, Ms. Singh. Give Ms. Singh a big round of applause. We finished bang on time. A bigger round of applause. Clapping is good for heart muscles.